Connecting now.
It looks like we're connected now. Oh, this is going to be an exciting and thrilling class because Dr. Joel Fuhrman is going to share his most important must-haves. And how he discovered them in 2020, maybe not. Maybe it's for 2021. So let me hit the record button. All of you, before I hit the record button, I have to tell you, we're being garbled up by algorithms. This is information that is not readily available in the mainstream media. People don't want you to know about these things. So I want to make sure that you do your part in growing the classroom by sharing, liking, tagging somebody, making sure that as many of you have this great information with Dr. Joel Fuhrman. So let me hit the record button now. And I want you guys to start doing your part. And here we go. Guess who's back? Dr. Joel Fuhrman. And we are going to do probably my funnest last year with Dr. Fuhrman was when he shared his top 10 list of must-haves. So fasten your seatbelt because we're going to learn and grow together. Okay, Dr. Fuhrman, can you at least dance today? Give me a little head bop. Just a little head bop. Okay. Here we go.
The Lillian McDermott Show.
We love, we fear, bridges we burn, we make mistakes, then we live and learn. When life gets tough, and it seems like your best ain't good enough. If you're in need of hope, you know where I'll be right here. Right here, and when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here, waiting for
you. This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening and viewing friend. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And for those of you who are tuning in because you know Dr. Joel Fuhrman is in the classroom and this is your first time, please know I've been waiting for you. This is a safe place where you can go to when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening, as well as my viewing friend, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. Now, today, you got to witness something extraordinary. Dr. Joel Fuhrman gave me a head bop. I've been trying since 2015 to get him to dance, and we actually got to do a little bit of movement today. So this is progress because this is going to be the fun class, the fun session. This is where Dr. Joel Fuhrman gets to share all his wisdom about his must-haves for the year so that we can maybe look into it and actually get it for 2021. But for now, I am just so grateful for the world-renowned Dr. Joel Fuhrman, best-selling author. And by the way, we're giving away 2 of his latest book, Eat for Life. I am so thrilled to welcome Dr. Joel Fuhrman, since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge. Dr. Joel Fuhrman, I am so grateful for you because you're here to do just that. Welcome.
Hi, Lily. Hi, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you for dancing. Thank you for those were great moves, Dr. Fuhrman. I'm sure that you were a great Olympian.
I've had many years of jazz dancing and ballet.
Yes, you should have shown me your jazz hands. Do you give me your jazz hands? So today, Dr. Fuhrman, I remember last year, you were running late. You were in your car and you were fighting traffic. And we actually started the class while you were driving. And then you busted into your house and you just like a champion, didn't skip a beat. So I'm looking forward to you're sitting down, you're prepared, you've got your gadgets, you're ready to go. So let's get going right from the start. What is your number one must-have of this year that you want to share with us?
One of the most important things for my life is this little gadget right here.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's it called?
It's called a Dr. Meter.
Dr. Meter.
Dr. Meter moisture meter. it says on it right here, moisture meter. You put it in the soil, and it tells you if your plants are dry or they need water or they're wet. Because I have like 100 fruit trees here.
Mm.
But if you grow foods in your house, in your windowsill, plants, indoor plants, outdoor plants, your trees, if you're watering trees that are wet, the soil's already wet, you're going to cause root rot, and the tree's not going to grow right. And if you're not watering trees that are dry, the leaves are going to, wrinkle and fall. It's not going to grow. So you have to watch your trees so you water them when they need water, and you don't live. So you can't, I can't even have a successful fruit orchard or a successful garden without this.
So do you go around sticking it on everything just to see, or do you pretty much, can you just, how do you know, does it adjust to each plant knowing what kind of moisture? Because some plants thrive on moisture, like peace lily, for example, they love moisture, and like a cactus loves dryness.
Right. So the plant has this meter has 1 to 10, where it tells you the moisture of the soil. So with a cactus, you want to keep it on the lower side, but you don't want it totally dry either. You want to let it go dry, and then don't let it go dry with no water. And you got to get it up a little bit, let it get dry again. With a plant that loves water, like an avocado, you're going to let it go to a lot of water, but then you're not going to water it again until it starts to go to dry. Because even though you like a lot of water, if you keep water there all the time, you'll get root rot.
Interesting.
So what the plant, how much water loving the plant is, and this helps you to know how much water to give any plant.
And how long?
Plant or an indoor plant.
When you showed me that, I thought it can't be a meat thermometer. And so, yeah, when you mentioned that this is probably the most important tool that anybody could use, you're not kidding.
If you're a successful gardener, you really need this. You can't be a successful gardener, especially if you're trying to grow fruit on trees, without this. And I want everybody to have like some Mayway kumquat trees or fig trees. Even if they live in northern climates, they can grow the tree outdoors in obviously April to October, bring it in a pot in the garage or in your indoor, but inside the shed or something, and wheel it on a caddy outside, so you have a tropical tree. And the Mayway kumquat is the kumquat that's sweet, not like the Nigeri kumquat that's shaped like an egg and sour. It's round and really sweet, and you're eating the whole skin of the kumquat with all those rich nutrients that have anti-cancer effects. So even when I lived in the north, and people do, they even have one of these kumquat trees where they can, put indoors and outdoors, and they can keep them in their living room. They look beautiful.
Really?
And the citrus fruit is so nice because citrus fruit stays on the tree. And you can leave it on the tree for a few months and just pick off the ones you're eating, leaving on the tree the ones you're not eating. So it stays good for, the season at which you can pick citrus off that tree is months, not weeks. When you have like an apricot tree or a peach tree, they all get ripe at the same time. You can't leave them on the tree. They'll get overripe, or they'll be eaten by raccoons or deer or something, or animals. And then they all ripen at once. So you got to like freeze them all. But with a citrus tree, you can just leave them on the tree. Cherimoys and avocados too, they stay on the tree hard, and they only ripen when you pull them off the tree. So you can just pull the ones off the tree that you want to eat and let them ripen off the tree. That's what's good about them too.
I've actually thought that they fell off the tree if you left them on too soon. And I thought that if you kept the fruit on a tree, that it would actually take away from the plant's nutrient, and that you wanted to take the fruit off. That's how much I know.
No, that's not going to, you're right. With a little small tree, when you have a little tree, you're trying to have it take root and grow from a pot into the soil, and you want it to grow, you're better off not letting it fruit, because you want to have most of its strength go towards growth.
Yeah.
So you're with a little tree to get it established, you're not going to want it to fruit much. That's correct. But once you have an established tree, you want it to fruit as much as possible.
Got it. Okay.
Either case, you still need this.
Okay. So I want to tell everybody, I didn't mention, if you want this book, okay, this is the year to declare your health back. Every year, every day, every hour, every minute is the moment where you can declare your health back. We are giving away two of these books, Eat for Life. And what you need to do is you need to declare it in wherever you're watching from, whether you're watching on YouTube or on later on, if you're going to be watching on podcasts or Facebook. What I want you to do is I am taking my health back, and text me at 407-373-5959. If you have any questions for Dr. Fuhrman, you can type in a Q, and then we will ask a question later on. But here's the thing. I will take all the people that submit it, and I will draw out 2 names. Your name will go into winner's basket. So I just want to let you know that 2 of these books. So, okay. So a question I have for you about the kumquat. I ate your kumquat over when I went to visit your Eat to Live retreat center, and it was delicious. I don't think I've ever had a kumquat, honestly. But in Florida, every organic citrus tree, you can't, the fruit that's on it for a year, you got to throw it away because they spray it down with some antifungal, whatever. And they said that after a year, you can eat the fruit again. Is that true for everywhere? Is that true for California, or is
No,
that just for Florida?
I don't know. I never heard of that before.
Yeah,
Sure.
they spray it down in
Sometimes
Florida.
we get ants that crawl up the trees, and they put these, and they farm these insects that work in a relationship with these ants. So we wrap the tree with a tight white cloth, and we take this sticky material on a brush, and you buy this thing. I forgot what it's called, but it's you take this very sticky like glue, and you put it around the tape so the ants can't crawl up the tree. Keep the ants off your tree. But so we don't want crawling bugs going up the trees. So that's what we do sometimes here.
Yeah,
But I don't have
yeah.
to spray them. Oh, and
Where-
if you want to spray the trees, we do spray some of the leaves, the underside of the leaves, so insects don't collect. We use just a neem oil spray. You can buy that
Yeah.
in any Ace Hardware or Home Depot or any place that sells plant material. You can buy neem oil spray that's completely harmless and organic. It's made out of a plant oil, and it keeps the insects away from the plant.
Very good, very good.
Just
Okay.
those three things to protect your trees, fruit trees, are the white tape, white fabric tape, the sticky glue. It begins with a T. I forgot the name of it. And the third thing, of course, is neem oil spray.
Neem oil. Okay, so you
And of
guys
course,
got
the
it.
most important thing I can't leave without, I forgot to mention that, is deer and rabbit repellent spray. It's like rotten eggs. It gives you a terrible odor because wherever you live, the deer or the animals just chew up your plants and will eat any part of your plants. So by spraying some of your lower hanging, I'm trying to develop here some of my passion fruit trees, but I've got to keep them sprayed so the deer don't come and eat all the leaves off.
And what do you spray them with? Is it also an organic solution?
It's an organic solution. Maybe it's an egg-based solution made by like rotten eggs that you spray it and gives it a smell so the deer won't go near it.
Do you spray it around it? Like
No, I just spray the leaves.
you spray the
they'll
leaves
spray
because
the
that's what they want to eat.
Because they'll eat the plants, yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Well, you know what? I was looking at this Dr. Meter that you have, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool if they created one for people? Because we're constantly living in a dehydrated state. Wouldn't it be nice if we could just put it in our tongue and it'll tell us if we're dehydrated or not?
Yeah, well,
Just a thought.
people are dehydrated because they eat wrongly. They eat salt, and they don't eat a dry, salty diet. So the body holds on to water, and the more acidic and toxic you are, the more water your body needs to hold on to dilute the toxicity of your tissues. So the acids and the poison aren't as concentrated. So people are overly hydrated. Everybody's overly hydrated because of they have too much water in their body because of all the toxins they have that's making the body hold on to too much water. The minute they start eating healthfully, we start to see their diarrhea. They might lose 10 pounds of water the first week they're here.
Yeah.
So it's not really related to how much water they drink. It's what they're eating and how healthy they are.
Interesting. Different take. That's very good. Very good. Okay. What's your next little gadget that you have?
My most favorite fancy dessert that I have maybe once a week or so, and I serve all my company and parties, and when people, is always just plain ordinary vanilla ice cream. And the most delicious vanilla ice cream, you have to get 3 ingredients, and you have to have these ingredients. And one is real vanilla bean powder. It's not vanilla bean extract. It's not vanilla. It's just real, the whole bean ground up.
Yes. And I hear you have your own brand now.
Well, it's not really. Well, we have our own brand, but the only reason we have our own brand is because we couldn't. It's in such demand that you couldn't find it. You can't buy it. So we had to find someone to buy it up because people can't buy it anywhere to make it available to people. So it's not really our brand. It's just, we put our name on it, but yeah, you know what I'm saying? We just bought a really great vanilla bean powder, because thousands of pounds from this supplier that had them. So we put them in bags so people could get them because you can't find it on the internet anymore.
Well, my next bag will be a Dr. Fuhrman bag of vanilla bean because that was a tip you gave me a long time ago, and that's how I make my ice creams and my nice creams and all that.
Right, and if you're having company, you got to make a delicious ice cream that really tastes like ice cream. And the secret here is this: You know what this is, of course.
Yes, you told me, but anybody going to guess? Okay, write your comments down. You'll
Need
get
the
an
ice
extra
cream.
bonus if you get it right. I got it right, but I wasn't specific enough.
Okay, here's
Oh.
what it is that the secret ingredient, besides the frozen bananas and the vanilla bean powder, is freshly cracked macadamia nuts. If you buy macadamia nuts that are already cracked, you're gonna miss that flavor, the delicious creaminess and sweetness of a freshly cracked macadamia nuts.
Mhm.
And macadamia nuts have this hard rock-like shell. And I often lay them in a plastic bag with a hammer and try to crack them. But this thing is a godsend. You just put
Show
the
us
nut.
bring it up so we can see it. Bring it up so we can see.
Yeah.
Okay.
You see, it just has this little crank here. You just put the
Uh-huh.
nut in like that,
Yeah.
and you just turn the crank like this, and it cracks the nut. So I didn't put it down far enough, but here we go. You can see it cracks the nut. It cracks it just enough so you can open up the nut and take out the macadamia nut. You see that macadamia nut I just cracked open?
And you have macadamia trees in your property, right?
I do, yeah. So I don't have to even buy the macadamia nuts. But anyway, so here's putting it in.
Bring it up. Bring it up.
cracking the nut. Oh, bring it up.
Yeah.
You push the nut down into the thing, and you just go. Click, and it
That
cracks.
is, and what is that called? What is that? Can you do just macadamia nuts, or is that just a regular nutcracker?
No, I have other nutcrackers. This is just for macadamia nuts. This is called TJ's Nutcrackers, Captain Cook Hawaii. TJ's Nutcrackers, Captain Cook Hawaii. It's yeah, you just put the nut in there, and it makes you push the nut down, and there you go.
Bring it up so we can see
Oh,
it. That's
sorry.
fat. You know what? That is therapeutic.
Yeah, it's so much fun. Actually, I'm gonna turn it this way.
Bring it up so we can see
Yeah.
it.
All right. So here's another nut I just cracked.
But how is it? What's it doing? Are you tapping the? Does it go in
Oh, I'm
between?
just turning this handle over.
Turn
like this.
it the other way. Turn it. Oh, so whatever is underneath it, that's what's cranking it. Okay.
Yeah, no, it has the nut goes in here, wedges into these two pieces of rubber,
Uh-huh.
and the rubber moves together with the crank. So it's
And then it does it
really
does-
crack the nut so it doesn't crack the inside of the nut. See, if I take the nut, you can see it better. I'm holding it up. I can put the machine down. I'll put the head.
Yeah.
Now you
Yeah.
can see it better. So I'm putting the nut, wedging it down into the piece of rubber. And now as I crank this over, it's going to
It's
squeeze.
going to pop it.
Pop
Pressure.
the nut open, right? So pop the nut.
Cool.
So it takes
That
no
is-
strength at all. It just cracks the nut open. But I think that some of these nuts are so fresh. I haven't let them dry enough yet. But so the nut itself, when it's blended into when it's blended with the banana and the vanilla into an ice cream, which we call an ice cream, it gives it a very creamy mouthfeel, like real heavy cream. And it tastes really fantastic. You can use walnuts and other things, but for special occasions, it's even better with the macadamia nuts in there. You don't need a lot of macadamia nuts. You just need like 5 macadamia nuts and a half a banana per serving, you know?
Okay. So 5 and half a banana per serving.
Yeah, if
And-
I'm making it for like 8 people,
Yes.
4 bananas to like a cup of macadamia nuts, or a little less than a cup of macadamia nuts,
Mhm.
and a heaping tablespoon of the vanilla bean powder. That's per 4 bananas, and that serves 8 people.
Wow. That serves 2 people in my house. It's just.
Oh, okay. Well, you can make that serve 6 people.
We love an ice cream. Sometimes we turn it into a milkshake. But okay, what do you use to? Do you add any coconut cream milk, or do you add?
Oh
any,
yeah, I sometimes add a
Yeah.
little soy milk, unsweetened soy milk, just to make it work in to blend
Yeah.
the vitamins so the food processor better. You can use a food processor with an S blade, or a Vitamix or a high-powered blender like that. But you do put a little liquid in there, makes it blend better.
Yeah.
And you want to get it blended so the macadamia nuts, you don't feel little pieces of lumps in there. You want it to really be creamy smooth. So you got to blend it adequately.
Now, you don't put any module dates? I put module dates on mine.
No, that's the whole point. The beauty of this is you don't sweeten it. It's just, the banana gives you enough sweetening. So you have to put dates in when you're using a cocoa powder, because the cocoa adds bitterness to the banana.
Yeah.
But when you're just using banana, it's plenty sweet enough. And it makes it so you can feel like you can enjoy having a little, nicer sized portion without overdoing the sweetness. So you really try it. You don't need any dates in there. It's plenty sweet enough.
I will try it. And I'm going to try it with a macadamia. Now, if you have like the little hand nut crackers, the little hand, do they work as good, or is
No,
it
you
just?
cannot. You cannot use a hand cracker that has the squeeze on a macadamia. It's too hard. But they do have the kind that you screw down with a screw. Small, and it has a twisted thing that you turn with a, you could screw right into it, and it kind of collapses them. But you could also lay it down in a plastic bag and clap each one on the top very hard with a regular hammer.
Okay. That sounds really good. And I like things like that have a little crank. They're easy to do. And it was almost like therapeutic watching you do that. It's like, it was almost therapeutic. So you can, so if you were to do a cup with 4 bananas, cup of macadamia nuts, 4 bananas, and a heaping tablespoon of Dr. Fuhrman's vanilla bean powder, and you're good to go.
Right.
And a little bit of soy milk.
Yeah, a little bit of
plant milk.
Unsweetened plant milk. You do not need to sweeten this. You don't need to add dates. It's good just the way
sugar.
It is.
That's right. No need for sugar. This is a lifestyle change, and sugar.
And with the holidays coming up, that's your go-to holiday dessert. You know, that people are all going to love.
Yes.
You know? We sometimes make a little bit of an apple, a healthy apple pie with apples, cinnamon, walnuts, flax seeds, nutmeg, and currants or something on a little bit of crust. Maybe we'll make a crust out of, oats and pecans or shredded unsweetened coconut with, and we'll make, so we can put a dollop of this ice cream on a little, or it's just plain stewed apple. It's nice. Just take a little baked apple with cinnamon and ground flax seeds and nutmeg on top. A little baked apple, give everybody a half a baked apple that's been cooked and made cold, and you put a scoop of this vanilla ice cream on top. You got an incredible gourmet holiday dessert for people during Thanksgiving or during the Christmas or the whatever holiday is your favorite holiday.
So you take the apple, you cut it in half, you core it, you cut it in half, and you put it in the oven for how long?
No, usually we bake the apple first.
Yeah.
Bake, and then after it's baked, then you can core it, but then after it's baked, then I cut it in half.
Okay, but do you peel it?
No, don't peel it, because you want the skin kind of holds the moisture in.
Cool. Okay, so I've always wanted to do baked apples. Okay, so you take the apple whole, and how long do you bake it for? What temperature?
Oh, I don't remember, but I would guess an apple doesn't need that long to bake. Probably you can put it at 300 degrees for 20 minutes. I'm guessing 20 to 30 minutes.
Okay. And then you just cook it, and then you cut it in half, you core it, you cut it in half, and then you put the vanilla ice cream. That sounds phenomenal.
Right.
That sounds so good. And, people think that if they eat a Nutritarian lifestyle, they're giving up flavor. And what they will come to understand and love is that the flavor becomes more abundant. The taste buds, your taste buds are working.
And you get so much more pleasure eating, knowing the food's good for you that tastes good, when you think the food's bad for you and it's tasting good.
Yeah.
When you eat a bad for you tasting good food, you go, I'm going to feel sick. Is this worth it? It doesn't taste that great anyway.
No.
When you eat a good for you food that tastes good, you go, wow, I'm really enjoying this. I know it's good for me. I'm not going to be sick tonight. And I can eat a little more bigger portion on the holidays.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So what else do you got? And remember, 407-373-5959. We will pick 2 people, and I'm going to give it some time. I'm going to wait till Monday. That way, for those of you who are listeners of my podcast, text me right away. Don't wait a month to text me and ask for the book. No, till Monday. And today is the 16th. So that would be the 18th? No. The 20th. That's the 20th. Okay, Dr. Fuhrman, what else is on your list?
Well, I don't know if other people's must-haves. Mine are very unusual. I have to have this collapsible hose for watering trees, because this collapsible hose, it's 100 feet long. But when it collapses, the water's out of it, it shrinks up, and you can carry it around. It's only it comes down to 10 feet, and you can bring it around your garden. You plug it in, put the water on, it expands into being 100 feet. But that's not why it's that good. What's so good about it is you don't need a nozzle on the end of a hose, because it has a little metal switch on the end. You can open and close the end of the hose without having a nozzle. The problem is the nozzle slows the water flow down, and you can't stand there for 15 minutes trying to water a tree. You want a whole bunch of water to dump out. So I don't want to put a nozzle on the end of my hose. I want just the end of the hose to be completely open. So this enables you to open the hose completely or shut it off completely. When you're walking from plant to plant, you can shut the water off or putting it to the next tree. You can open it up and the water's just pouring out of there. without a nozzle. So I couldn't live without that. It would take me hours to water my garden if I didn't have this hose that's so easy to carry around, to shift to different nozzles around the property, and to be able to, eat light enough to carry, and also to have a good water flow out of it. So
Now
they're
with 100,
expandable and like elastic, you know what I mean?
yeah, so 100 feet. I mean, I know that your orchard and your farm or whatever you want, your garden is a lot it's bigger than 100 feet. So do you have like little water spouts at different areas that you can hook up to?
Well, yeah, there's a water spout up near the garden that's close to the garden. There's a water spout on this side of the house, a water spout down the hill where the macadamia nut trees are growing. So there's water spouts around there. But if I can't reach, I can hook up another hose to the spout and hook up this 100 feet stretchable hose to that regular hose. And it could still allow me to navigate anywhere on the property.
That's cool.
So I could probably go further than, 200 feet if I needed to,
What is it like for you? Because, I visited you while you were in your place at Eat to Live retreat center, and you were kind of like a kid in the candy store. You're a totally different person. What is it about nature, and how does it affect you? And what is your advice to people that live in a city or don't even look at nature? What is your advice when it comes to health?
Well, it's, the cities enable you to get to there's some advantages to living in a city. Like you have access to, let's say, a healthy restaurant that you wouldn't have in the suburbs or in areas where aren't as populated. And they sometimes have good stores like Whole Foods Market or, or Jimbo's, or places that you can shop that have organic, healthy food. And there's exercise, just gyms and things. There's some advantages to living in a city. But I really love getting my, digging and using a pick and taking away rocks. And I like digging holes. It's great exercise, and working in the garden. So I'm blessed and thankful that I can be able to live and grow some of my own food. I've always felt like I wanted to do this in my life. And the fact I enjoy it. It's like a hobby, a hobby. Some people's hobby may be a different hobby, but my other hobby is sports and staying fit and stuff like that. So I also have a lot of things to do with the sports I like playing tennis or going skiing. Like today, I just got a car mat and an inflatable car mat that I can put in the back of my car, so I can sleep in the back of my car. So I can be on the road and drive to a ski area and sleep with a sleeping bag and a car mat, sleep in the back of my car and go to any ski area. Like there's a snowstorm coming in Thursday night. Yeah. So I'm going to drive about 5 hours away to go to this mountain that has a snowstorm coming in. And there's no hotel rooms because of COVID. I don't want to be contaminated anyway. But there's no place, you can't get a hotel room, but I don't care. I'll still sleep in my car and go skiing.
I could just see the headlines. Dr. Joel Fuhrman found homeless in his car. So if you see Dr. Fuhrman in his car, just know this is purposeful, and he wants to be at the slopes so that he can ski right off the bat. So you just want to be the one that hits the powder, gets the powder all messed up.
No, I don't have to be the first one on the mountain to hit the slopes. I just don't,
Well, you could be the first one.
I could be, you're right. I don't.
Yeah. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with being the first one and seeing that snow, fresh snow? I've been there where you're the first one that's like separating the snow and creating the trail. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's always good.
Yeah, you're right. I'm getting back, reliving my childhood, like being a bum.
Snow bunny.
I wouldn't have even having shaven today for getting ready for this trip if I would have preferably, but I had to shave because of the show today.
Okay, I'll take it. You see what Dr. Fuhrman does for the Lillian McDermott radio show classroom? I love it. Thank you so much for shaving. Okay, so what else is on your list?
Bok choy seeds.
Bok choy seeds.
Yeah, because bok choy is the most favorable vegetable to grow, because it grows so easy with no pests. Like cabbage gets worms and gets irritated. Bok choy is like pest-free, easy to grow. You can eat it raw in your salad. You can cook it and eating your vegetable chips cooked. You can juice it because it's juicy to make it in your anti-cancer drinks. You can blend it for a smoothie. It's not bitter. You can make it in soups. It's the most versatile, and it's high in calcium. It's the most versatile vegetable. It's resistant to insects and mold. It's so easy to grow, and you get different types of baby bok choys and you grow them, and it's just great. It's
What's
number
your
one.
favorite brand for? Because, we want to make sure that the seed is
Oh,
organic,
if I give the
non-GMO.
favorite brand, then everybody will buy that brand, and they won't have. They'll be all sold out. They're all sold
Ah,
out. No, it's what they can buy. I usually buy it from. Some buy it from Burpee's or
yeah.
Baker's
Okay.
Heirloom Seeds, something like, or a different place like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? And so is this something that we could grow? Because I want to get my garden going again. Since I moved to a condo, not having the water that I want, and it was very difficult for
You
me
can
to
get a
grow
grow
any.
box. You can get a plastic grow box in a condo and fill it with a good dirt, and then you plant them only 1 inch apart, the
Okay.
seeds. And then as they grow, you cut every other seed, so now they have 2 inches of space. So you get them in different stages of growth. So you plant them a little closer together than it says on the. I don't say plant 2.5 inches apart. You plant it 1 inch apart, not 2.5 inches apart, because then you can eat the baby ones that are smaller, and then as they get bigger, you can let them grow bigger. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. And so what do you separate them when they start growing bigger,
When they
or?
start growing bigger, you cut off and eat every other one. So it leaves more room for the other ones to grow, the bigger ones to grow.
How quickly do they grow?
Quick. They could just in a few weeks, you could see them coming up out of the ground, and you have them, and then you can eat them within a month.
Wow. Okay. And you know what? More and more, we're going to have to become reliant on growing our own food. Especially with all this COVID that's happening. There's farmers, and people cannot work, and so we need to start growing our own food. So that's a great thing to do. And bok choy, like you said, is so versatile, and it's so important, and with the anti-cancer fighting agents that are in it. So good. That's really
Yeah,
good.
there's
Easy
another
to
very
do.
important agent, but it's so easy to grow. I never have a bad crop. It's just incredible.
Yeah. I don't remember seeing bok choy. So did you have it in your garden?
Yeah.
Hmm,
I
interesting.
even have like different varieties. Like I have like red bok choy.
Really? I've never
Yeah,
seen
really,
that.
and baby ones and bigger ones. I have different varieties of bok choy even, That's
Wow.
how much we use bok choy in different, because also you have like cooked bok choy that's with a little bit of like mushroom and a little bit of a Thai sauce on it with a
Yeah.
little bit, you put a little like water chestnuts in there or bamboo shoots, and you can make an incredibly delicious. It's the greatest vegetables to cook in cooked vegetable dishes too.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, what else is in your list?
Well, I have exercise equipment I like. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I do like, for example, I love these things.
And what is that? Oh,
You see this clip, you hang it on. I have a power tower where you can do chin ups on, and you can but I hang this. You see, you can hang this on your, you hang it on a bar on your where you're doing your chin ups, or what any kind,
mhm.
and now you have these loops that you can put your arms in.
Yeah.
So you put your arms in here, and you support this is hanging on a bar, right? And now I'm hanging from my arms, so my body's in the air now. I can keep myself elevated very easily
Yeah.
with no strength
Yeah.
at all, because this holds you very easily with it. And now I can do leg lifts, and I can do leg circles with both directions and knee ups, and you can really exercise your abdominal muscles so efficiently when your body against gravity, when your body is suspended in the air, completely like this. So it's
Very
mainly
good.
abdominal suspension straps, they're called.
Abdominal suspension. Okay, so that reminds me of things that we used to use in the gym a long time ago that have been replaced with other things. But how long have you had that? Is that new, or have you had it for a long time?
Well, no, I've had these for years. This is new because I got a new one. The other
Uh-huh.
one's probably packed up in a suitcase in a cardboard box somewhere. But from New Jersey, I'll eventually have. But yeah, these are the ones I just picked from the retreat gym. I have my
Yeah.
own that I use in my own house too. And then
Yeah.
I
And they're
also
called abdominal, what are they called?
suspension straps. You
Suspension
suspend your
straps.
body in the air, but you have to have a hanging bar or some kind of chin up bar to put them on. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. Okay. So I have to make sure that it supports you. So make sure that you are being supported with that, whatever beam it is, and just hook up on it, and you can use it to do
Yeah,
your
and
abdominal
most
work.
people have like a hanging up bar or I use that power tower, which has, any exercise equipment usually has a bar
Yeah.
suspended with it.
Yeah.
And
That's
I like to
good.
have some kind of abdominal roller too, is really important to me.
Okay.
Here's a nice one. This
I've
is
never seen one with four wheels. Is that four
this,
wheels?
yes, 4
Got a
wheels.
four-wheeler.
It's really I like this one a lot.
That's nice. Because they
Yeah.
used to they just have the one wheel and
The
you're
one
just going,
wheel, yeah, this is really nice and sturdy.
that looks, yeah, that looks nicer.
Yeah.
And what is that one called?
Oh, this is called a Harrison abdominal wheel.
Harrison.
Harrison. I got it for free because it came with the Harrison Power Tower, which I have, which has the dip bar, the dip station and the Roman chair and the chin-up bar on top. It's a tower that has the chin-up bar so you can pull down it. So like this came along with it. And then
Nice.
I bought this separate. This did not come with it. And these I, of course, bought separate to use with the Harrison Power Tower. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. That's, and exercise is important. Now we talked about, hydration and exercise. Now let's talk about why people want to add exercise into their lifestyle.
Well, our most important elements of exercising is exercising our midsection. So and that includes your glutes and your hamstrings and your lower back and your abdomen. We could exercise our arms. That's great, but it's not going to give me great health protection as I age to have big arms. It's going to give me great health as I age to have a ripped stomach and a strong back and good hips so you don't fall on your hip with side-to-side motion. So I particularly focus on, with my clients and guests, as well as being an example of good health, of practicing the side-to-side movements. Mm-hmm. Jogging, cross steps, stopping, jogging the other way, stopping, going back the other way, stopping, hopping out, shuffling out, stop, shuffle the other way, stop, stepping across the other foot to the outside, stop, stepping across behind, stopping. It's movements that involve going sideways and stopping, hopping to one foot sideways, hopping to the other foot to the other side. We're developing the proprioception, which means the sensation of your neurological signals from the spine, knowing where you are in space for balance and for strength both. So because when people fall and break a hip later in life, they don't fall forward on their knees, they don't fall back on their coccyx and break and hurt themselves. They fall sideways and hit a hip bone. Mm. So we want to develop the strength and the coordination and the proprioception so you don't fall sideways and break a hip bone. So we work on that a lot. Then we work on lower back extensions a lot because we want to protect our back. And also we work on our abdomen for digestive ability and for have good bowel movements and good digestion and good fitness. You want to have good abdominal muscles. And we're talking about leg lifts. And I talked about the abdominal straps and that machine that goes out, which does your back and your abdomen. By the way, those rollers are fantastic. They're really great for you. We do other exercises with our legs and our back too. So that's all very important to how you should say, exercise proactively to prevent those potential risks that occur with aging, like spinal collapse and hip fractures.
Yeah. I would love to do maybe an exercise class with Dr. Fuhrman, maybe in the new year coming up, because it'd be fun to just all of us show up. We learn all about nutrition and how important it is to be a nutritarian and eat well. But to have a little routine as we enter the year that maybe we can do from our homes and maybe not even from the gym. But when you were showing us that one time we were doing a class and you were showing some moves, and it's really simple things that we could do. Especially if you're watching television, you could just get up and do that while you're watching television. And now, you're not just sitting there eating, potato chips. You're actually doing something that is helpful to you, and it's going to help you with prevention. We want people to do these
multiple times each day. We want people to do them multiple times a day. Do you take a break or a sponsor break, and then we'll talk about more?
Yeah, we can. Well, okay. So what I'll do? Do you need to step out a little bit?
No, I don't.
Okay. So basically what Dr. Fuhrman knows is that I always invite you to go to whenyouneedafriend.com, because we really don't know, with all the censorship that's happening on social media, what if we're going to be here or not. So we want to make sure that you stay connected to whenyouneedafriend.com. Please subscribe while you're there. When you subscribe, you get free gifts. You get my 90-day challenge to self-love ebook. You also get all bunch of discounts when you shop in the Lillian McDermott radio show shopping bag. You can get discounts for Keep Me Safe Organics, which is all organic makeup. You put Lily 10 and get a discount there. First Alternative Care, you will have medical, what do you call it? Oh gosh, it's oh gosh, my brain just went blank. It's in-house Gosh, my brain just went. So it's First Alternative Care. Just check it out. Just check it out. The pharmacy in Merritt Island, and Live Longer Medical, that is now Geyer Wellness Institute, Ground Therapy, Brain Tap. There's so many different things that you can go there. And now we're working on the generosity of the people. We don't have a lot of sponsors. We don't have hardly any sponsors. We want the generosity of the people donating to the classroom. So figure out ways that you can help out through either my affiliate sponsors or becoming an enrolled student in the classroom. And you can donate $1 to $1,000 a month, whatever you can, to protect this information from going away. Just make sure, because every time we get censored here or there, we have to figure out ways to continue to grow. So please become an enrolled student and figure out ways that you can support the classroom. So today we're talking with Dr. Joel Fuhrman. Dr. Joel Fuhrman, we're giving away 2 of the Eat for Life books. And what you do this to win is you need to claim it below that you are wanting to claim your life back and or your health back. And then you need to text me at 407-373-5959 and 407-373-5959. The number is right there. So no excuses. Text me you're that you're ready to take your health back, and then I'll put your name in a winner's basket, and 2 names will be selected. So they could be you. If you don't do it, then you won't win. But at least if you do it, you have a better chance. So Dr. Fuhrman, I'm just so grateful to you for everything that you do for the classroom. You have been just a great supporter of the classroom. So anything that you want to share during this holiday season outside of your must-haves, that this is a must-have for your brain, a mindset that you might want to leave behind for everybody that is listening and watching and will watch later on?
Well, we have a tremendous transformation in the history of nutritional science today, where more studies are corroborating each other, showing that what's the healthiest diet to live a long time. For example, we know that the recent studies of the last year have shown, in 2020, have showed us that plant-based diets that are higher in protein have increased longevity and protection against cancer and cardiovascular disease compared to plant-based diets that are lower in protein. That's where hemp seeds become such a great food. And as a recent study came out a couple of weeks ago an Oxford study showed that vegans have higher risk of bone fracture than non-vegans. And I wrote an article about it on my blog. Did you read an article on my blog of the Dr.
You sent one, yeah, you sent one.
The Eat to Live blog has a new, if they go to drfuhrman.com, they can look up it's e-learning, and they can go to the blog. It's the most recent articles about increased fractures in vegans, showing that, and I showed that vegan diets that are low in protein could lead to weakening of the bones with aging, and I compared the analysis of a Nutritarian diet that contains broccoli and quinoa and hemp seeds and and black beans and edamame and the foods and I showed that the protein content of a Nutritarian diet of about, I think, 1,500 calories was like a huge protein content in these plant foods we're utilizing. And the studies showing more animal products means animal protein, more death, more plant proteins, more lifespan. Mm-hmm. And as we change our animal protein to plant protein, whereas just cutting out animal protein, eating more potatoes and rice and bread and pasta and noodles or whatever it is you're eating and thinking that's going to protect you, it finds it to be not protective, because you have to have, so this idea in the plant-based community that protein isn't that important. You get enough protein with any kind of collection of plant foods, and protein is not the issue, and you don't have to worry about protein on a vegan diet. That's wrong. You do have to worry about protein on a vegan diet. That's where a Nutritarian, people don't want to respect the fact that a Nutritarian diet is the pinnacle of nutritional excellence.
Yes.
And because it's utilizing all the studies from around the world and weighing all the evidence in an unbiased fashion, letting science dictate the food choices, not person's ego or what they said 10 years ago. Because I used to give wrong advice 20 years ago too, or whatever, right? You modify your advice to match the science. But in any case,
when you know better, you do better, right?
Right. Yeah. And people want to think a diet that's less healthy is as healthy as a diet that's healthier. I know that sounds a stupid thing to say. It's like, yeah, my diet's healthier because it's healthier than diets is less healthy. That's like it sounds so dumb, but this is what the people are trying to drum into their followers, that it
Yes.
doesn't matter if you don't eat healthy or not, doesn't matter much as long as you do this, or as long as you don't have fat, or as long as you don't have this, or as long as as long as you don't eat sugar. They give, but no, it does matter. All these little tweaks matter. And that's where my food that I must have food is hemp seeds.
Mhm.
Hemp seeds, because we want when we eat, it's very high in protein, but it's also, as a nut or seed, high in omega-3 fatty acids.
Mm.
So now whenever I have a recipe, the recipe is my sesame, let's say, apple, cinnamon, cashew salad dressing.
Mhm.
Well, I'm going to take out half the cashews and substitute hemp seeds for half the cashews. You'll still taste the cashew flavor. Hemp seeds don't have a strong flavor. I'm making a walnut balsamic vinaigrette. Well, I'm going to take out the walnuts have omega-3, so I don't have to replace that with hemp seeds. But assuming I had some other, like a pecan apple or whatever it is, the point is, whatever nut or seed is in the recipe, I can reduce the nuts and seeds and add hemp seeds to balance the omega-3, omega-6 fatty acids. So walnuts and hemp seeds become more often my go-to nut or seed, as opposed to using Brazil nuts and pecans and cashews. So I'm using those, but not as strong as I'm using the walnuts and the hemp seeds. And the hemp seeds are much higher in protein. And especially as we age, the protein bioavailability goes down. We need more protein as we get older, is the point.
Yeah.
We want to maintain muscle size and strength as we get older. Our ability to assimilate protein in middle ages, when you're 25, 35, 40 years old, your diet's mostly fruit, or it's not as critical. But as you get older, you've got to maintain muscle mass and maintain bone mass. The extra protein is helpful. So that's where foods like soybeans, edamame, and hemp seeds, and my other go-to things I buy by the case, of course, are bulbs of garlic. And I roast the garlic to make sauces and dressings. And I buy tons of roasted garlic, and as you know, I roast the garlic with a whole bulb. I don't buy the cloves of garlic that already have the skin taken off. You want to have that protected skin and the whole bulb collected, so when you roast them in the oven, it keeps all the nutrients and the moisture inside. And you can roast it until it gets soft like toothpaste, cut the bottom off, and then squeeze it out, and it pops out like toothpaste. And you have this roasted garlic to mix with the hemp seeds and to do all the fun things to do all your dressings and sauces and things.
So when you do the roasted garlic, you've given the recipe before. It's like at 200 for half an hour. Do I remember that correctly off the top of my head?
At 300.
300
Yeah,
for 30 minutes.
Yeah. 330 minutes, right?
And then you just cut the top and then you squeeze it out. I did that.
You cut the root side off.
The root side off. I did it wrong. No wonder it was harder for me.
Use a serrated knife.
I cut the top and I just squeezed it, and it was like
the top to cut is there's too thin of a holes to cut to push it out.
Okay, so next time I do
it's shaped like a teardrop, and the bottom, the wider part is at the bottom near the root, the narrow part is up near the top.
I was thinking more like, when you get those little squeezy things and you've got
when you're doing a cake, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was writing happy birthday on my vegetables. That's what I was doing. That's it.
It's fun to watch things pop out, like giving birth to a baby.
Yeah. So you get the end. Okay, now you guys know how to do it right.
You have to use a serrated knife, because a non-serrated knife crushes the garlic. And so a serrated knife goes through it smoothly where the root end is, and then you can squeeze it and pop it all out nicely.
Okay, now we've got the total scoop on this one. This is really good. Okay, so I've got some, let me see, I've got some questions. If you have a question, because I can't read the comments on the air because I want to get as much information from Dr. Fuhrman, but if you put a Q, let me see if I see any Qs before I ask we move on to the next one. Okay, it says, Dr. Fuhrman, this is from Lillian. My namesake. Okay, I am 57 years old. We're the same age and at least 80 pounds overweight. Should I follow your aggressive plan on your emergency plan to get down some pounds?
Well,
she's at 80 pounds.
I tell everybody that to call yourself a Nutritarian, then you're either at your ideal weight or you're overweight and losing at least 2 pounds a week.
Okay.
So yes, she should follow the plan and make sure she's losing at least 2 pounds a week. Mm-hmm. If she's not losing 2 pounds a week, then she has to make some modification to the plan.
Yes.
She follows just a basic one of my plans, whether she gets the plan out of Eat for Life, whether she gets the book out of one of my T20 weight loss plans, whether she gets it in my aggressive plan on the website, wherever she starts, diabetic book, wherever she starts, just start.
Yeah.
Just start doing it. You'll drop weight. And then you could make the tweaks accordingly if you're not dropping at least 2 pounds a week.
Okay. And it's so simple. We try to complicate ourselves and we're trying to motivate ourselves. But if you just do it and you start eating Dr. Fuhrman's recipes and you can tweak them so that it's more your flavor if you like it a little bit spicier or whatever it is, but at least start somewhere because you will find that your life is going to change. Your life is going to change. Okay. So
your breakfast could vary and your dinner could vary, but your lunch should be the same every day. Lunch is the same every day.
Salad.
A big salad, not a soup bowl size, but a bigger bowl size. And it has to have scallion or shredded onion or scallion on top. And it has something cruciferous in it, like arugula or bok choy or Brussels sprouts, something cruciferous in it. And you use one of my healthy dressings recipes, or my healthy dressings,
Delicious.
And then you have a bowl of vegetable bean soup. In our case, we give every person 1 scoop of soup. That's it. They don't need 2 scoops. They don't need a lot of soup because the salad's so big that 1 scoop of soup is enough food. It had the beans in it. It has a little creaminess to it. And you don't want to eat a huge amount. And then when I had 1 piece of fruit for dessert. And me, I'm not overweight, but that was enough food. The big salad, the 1 ladle of soup, and 1 piece of fruit made me feel very satiated. That's plenty of food. I have a lot of overweight people here. And I know that they have a tendency to eat huge amounts of food, more than I'm eating, and I'm not overweight.
I eat a lot.
They like train themselves to their idea of what they should eat at every meal is just humongous. And the second thing is you got to chew that very well. You could modify your breakfast and lunch. You could eat more for lunch, less for lunch, more for dinner based on how big you are, based on how much calories you need. But the lunch has to be the salad, the soup, or the chili. Could be a soup or a stew, and the piece of fruit.
Yes.
This is not complicated.
Not very complicated. It's very simple. We try to make it complicated. It's not. And just follow the plan. Dr. Fuhrman has the T20 transformation, the emergency that she was talking about. She won in the classroom.
Right.
So
and she can make 1 soup on the weekend and eat it for 5 days straight. It's not much cooking involved. And you make a salad dressing, stay with that salad dressing for 3 days, then make a new one or something.
That's right.
There's not much cooking involved. Just do the program.
Yes. Okay. One more question. Let me see. Let's see, from Brandon. Let me see. I saw it come up, but I don't see it anymore. Okay, Brandon, do you ever recommend protein supplements for athletes attempting to build muscle?
Yes, we sometimes, have athletes, and we sometimes have children who don't thrive too. So everybody doesn't follow the same diet. We are adjusted accordingly. And the biggest protein supplement we mentioned, the biggest protein supplement I utilize is hemp seeds. That's the largest, number 1.
Are hemp seeds in calorie compared to nuts? How do you compare the calories from hemp versus nuts?
They're all similar, about 170 calories. They're the same calories, but they're more protein and less fat. They're more protein, more protein and better omega-3 fats.
Okay,
then,
I guess that's
for some athletes, they can just eat more food, but we give them, and we particular extra thing we supplement them with and make sure they're eating is the edamame, or we're making them chilies and burgers and dishes with dried soybeans that are soaked overnight and cooked into a soup or a chili or a burger. So we're using not tofu and not soybean powders and soy protein, but actually using dried soybean to make the meals. And then we can always add a pea, a pea protein powder in there if we want to add a little more extra protein. And sometimes in an elderly person, I add an egg white or something if they're still getting muscle wasting or getting too thin on a vegan diet. I don't make the philosophical idealism of a vegan diet preclude a person so their philosophy then puts them into trouble with them becoming too weak or too. So some individuals might even require more protein than even a supplemented vegan diet could give them, because maybe digestive impairment with aging, or they ate poorly when they were younger. And then of course we evaluate that and do what's appropriate for them. Yes. We don't make people fit some model. We tweak the model to make sure it's the right thing for that person.
I love it. And I believe that the Nutritarian lifestyle it welcomes everybody. It meets you where you're at, and it gives you a goal towards optimal health. And I truly believe it. Nothing else compares to the Nutritarian lifestyle. Okay, so one more question before I ask Dr. Fuhrman his last must-have. Okay, so Michael asks, say someone was to skip supplements but still eats healthy, how would he fare compared to someone eating the standard American diet?
I don't know, because if you ate a vegan diet and skipped supplements, then you'd be B12 deficient and you might be paralyzed or lose your mental function or dead from I've known people actually, I've known a guy, T.C. Fry, who died, I think, in his 60s because the natural hygiene and Shelton philosophy told him he didn't need B12. So his homocysteine, I saw his blood test on his death, before he died. He developed, high homocysteine due to aggressive B12 deficiency with a B12 level, very, very low. And he developed atherosclerosis and a premature death on a vegan diet due to B12 deficiency. I even had a lady who came to me, flew in from Sweden to see me in New Jersey with heart disease on a natural hygiene, a natural food vegan diet. And I said to her, you're developing heart disease because your homocysteine's high because of B12 deficiency. And she said, well, I'm not going to take B12. Dr. Shelton said that you don't need it. And these people were so philosophically ingrained with their gurus that she'd rather die than take B12. It's absolutely crazy. And we see that today with people would rather risk getting dementia and get dementia rather than deviate from this philosophical religion of their diet that they adopted, because they're like cult followers, because they think that because not recognizing all the people that can develop mental impairment and dementia with aging due to DHA deficiency on a vegan diet. And so instead of even checking a blood test to see if you're low and taking some DHA, they'd rather just chance it and get dementia just so they can be in their cult,
And I remember some of the experiences that you had when you started saying, you do need to have B12, and like you just finished saying, egg whites. And so I remember one time I was going to go I was asked to go on this vegan trip, and you were not even. I'm like, of all the people, I would think that you would want to be there, that they would want to have you there. But vegans, and I'm not trying to cut vegans down, because I eat a primarily whole food, plant-based lifestyle as well. So, but I'm saying that we have got to be about health and not about the label. And I think
I have to say that I've been in practice more than 30 years now. And I have had the opportunity to care for the larger vegan communities from the 1950s on. And these people have no experience, all the doctors, all the vegan promoting doctors, they haven't had my experience. And that is hundreds of patients, thousands of patients from the American Natural Hygiene Society, from the American Vegan Society, from all these groups. When I was the doctor, I was the only practicing physician caring for these people, and many of the leaders of these organizations developed neurologic difficulties with aging that can't be denied, and it's just a fact. And when I check their blood test, they're low in DHA, and not everybody gets low in DHA, but you don't take a chance with that. That's why I originally started being so fearful of messing people up that I knew that we have to start checking the blood test and making sure people don't get into trouble. Yeah. So it's mostly B12 and DHA that gets most people in trouble. But sometimes you see people with low levels of vitamin D. I had one guy that came in with abdominal, he came very thin and he couldn't digest food. He kept vomiting everything back up again. When he went to the doctor, they wanted to give him some psychotic drugs so he wouldn't vomit, and antipsychotic drugs. That was ridiculous. Another person wanted to do surgery on his esophageal sphincter, and then he called the vegan guru advisor. But when he came to me, of course, I did his blood test. His vitamin D was 8, and his vitamin D level was 8, and all I had to do with fix him was give him some vitamin D, and it was all fixed up.
Wow.
Simple things like that. So yeah, you can't just follow things blindly, And luckily, I've had enough experience where I could recognize these things and know and keep an eye on people so they don't go down the wrong path from people giving them bad advice.
What's the, because 8 is very low for vitamin D, but B12, what is the recommended number for B12? What does that number look like?
Well, the normal level's between 300 and 1,000, let's say, but But a B12 test is not an accurate test for B12 adequacy. So if your B12 level is even 350 or 400 in the normal range, that doesn't give you 100% certainty your body has enough. That's what we usually draw an MMA and a homocysteine. And MMA stands for methylmalonic acid. That will elevate if your B12 is deficient or not, which is a more expensive test. If your B12 is above 500, it's very unlikely you're going to need to draw an MMA or homocysteine. If B12 is less than 500, probably just one time, every 5 years, just to check that it's the right amount for you. You know what I mean?
I'm going to check it.
Being low in B12.
Yeah, I'm going to check that.
Dr. Fuhrman, I had this one guy who came in to see me paralyzed, right? He was a national kickboxing competitor, right? He competed nationally in kickboxing, really fit young guy. So he comes in, he can't walk due to B12 deficiency. He comes to my office, his brother carries him in on crutches and on his arms because he's now can't walk. I test his blood. I say him, he's on a vegan diet. He's B12 deficient. So he eats a vegan diet. He takes the B12 and gets better. It takes him a year, but he gets better again and can walk again. And I hear him talking on his radio show that he recovered from MS on a raw food vegan diet. He really didn't recover from MS. He didn't have MS. He had B12 deficiency, and he recovered from B12 deficiency with taking B12. But he was telling everybody he recovered from MS because of his raw food vegan diet. That's just one,
Did you call him out? Did you call him out?
Yeah.
But it's amazing. It's amazing that we have this mindset, and we've got to change the mindset. It's not about eating a certain lifestyle. Well, it's not about anything other than health. It's not about losing weight. It's about becoming healthy. It's not about, eating a certain way. It's about being healthy. And if it supports to me, with Dr. Fuhrman, with your Nutritarian lifestyle, it is a lifestyle. It's not about eating one thing or a certain way, or you are able to bring in so many different varieties so that it's about being healthy. So thank you, Dr. Fuhrman, for everything that you do over all these years. And I don't think everybody who's watching you here today is probably wanting to wish you, to send them love and send all the little things that you guys do. But most importantly, the fact that you care so much that you would shave for us today and be here, that is just, it speaks volumes about
in my car to go skiing. And I'm a bum.
Well, you want to be a bum. Once in a while, need to be a bum. So I just want to say thank you. And those of you, once we finish the podcast, because first we finish the podcast, if Dr. Fuhrman has a little bit of time, I'll answer some of your questions. But please remember, claim your book. Text me 407-373-5959. 2 lucky winners will be drawn from the lucky basket. Thank you, Dr. Fuhrman. Happy holidays to you and your family and everything that you do. May you be blessed even more than you have in the past. Please remember, we'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. This is Lillian McDermott and Dr. Joel Fuhrman wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever.
The opinions and advice expressed on the Lillian McDermott radio show are intended for the individual callers and guests on the program and are presented to our wider audience solely for general educational purposes. Please act responsibly and consult personally with your own medical, psychological, or nutritional expert before taking any steps to improve your life.
Dr. Fuhrman, do you have anything on your table? One last tip that you feel, oh my God, I wish we wouldn't have run out of time. Which one would you pick? One more.
Well, it's probably the things for your back. It's probably the Power Step Pinnacle Max, which I mentioned last year. The great orthotic that I get on Amazon for $35 instead of buying a $500 pair of orthotics. You can put in you can buy one for every shoe you have.
Yeah.
And I can adjust the cant for the individual, or the person can adjust the cant. In other words, so many people are pronated. So many people, their subtalar joint falls in and they're pronate and they don't going to get knee and back pain with aging. And these are cupped and cushioned. They're firmer in the back, softer in front, but the cup is cushioned. So, and I have bad heels from my skating injury, and it enables me to run and hike long distances.
And what is that called again? Pinnacle?
Power Step Pinnacle Max. And it's only $35 on Amazon. And now I took a cheap orthotic you could see right here, and I cut off the inner border, and or I could take a little piece of, and I made a little more cant, so when I lay it down, it increases the arch even higher. So I can see could get the right arch, perfect balance to my arch, so and people can make their own orthotic for $30-$40 as opposed to going to a podiatrist and paying $500 for the same thing, or not. The one you pay $500 for is not as good as this one for $35 actually.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I paid a lot of money for mine. So I know that last year so what is that little wedge? What do you do the little wedge with? How do you put that little wedge in there?
Usually you take the liner out that's in the shoe, right? And the liner that's in the shoe, I cut that with a scissor. So I take the liner that doesn't have this kind of arch support and cupping, a cheap liner out, and I cut the inside of the liner.
Raise it up a little bit more so we can see what you're doing.
Oh, so I take this one, this is the expensive $35 one. I take the $2 liner out and I cut the inner border out from the arch right through the heel, only about a half an inch.
Okay.
Of length, and then I glue the half inch with contact cement on the inside border.
Look at that. You're an inventor. There we go.
This orthotic, which then takes the Powers to Pinnacle Max and correctively tilts it with the arch even higher. Wow. So now my foot is really in neutral because I have a high arch pronated foot. That's what made my foot prone to injury, where I smacked and killed out my heel. Yeah. But holding your foot in that position, as you walk and run and age, you're going to have less chance of developing medial condyle arthritic problems from having, when you're pronated, you put more weight on the medial side, the middle side of your knee. And that's why people get knee pain as they age. If they walk on the outer borders of their feet or hold their arch up or get one of these orthotics that then they're going to have better aging of their knees, hips, and backs as they're getting older.
How do you know you're pronating, or how do you know that you need the arch support versus not need the arch support?
It has to do with what your foot, I'll try to show you here on the table.
You're going to have to jump on the bed, Dr. Fuhrman. Yeah.
I'll just put my foot on this table and I'll adjust it.
Okay.
So here's my foot. Hold on, let me get my foot up there on the table.
Yeah, you still need to lower the camera.
Yeah, I know.
There we go.
You see my foot okay?
Yep.
Okay. Here my foot is in neutral position, and here it's pronating in.
Okay. Yeah, my foot pronates in. Okay.
See when it pronates in, you can see the angle here, as opposed to this ankle and the subtalar joint below the ankle being straight versus crooked. So you want to hold it so that angle is straight, and you'll know because when you pronate in, the knee, then when you're standing up, the knee points inside. It's no longer tracking over between the first and second toe.
Got it.
Instead of your knee bending forward, as you bend a little bit, aiming straight to the kneecap is not aiming to your toe. The kneecap's aiming in here somewhere.
Got it.
And if your knee's not tracking over your foot, you're going to have more problems with your knees. By holding your arch up, your knee tracks out and your arch is held up. And if you're looking at your feet from the front or the back, you can see if it's not straight.
And so using the arch support from the cheap, the cheap inside of your
the cheap one that comes out of the sneaker, you pull that out and you put the Power Step Pinnacle Max in instead.
Yes.
But some people, maybe 50% of people, probably could need that. Half the population needs that. And then another half of that half, they need a more correction over and above the correction of the orthotic. They could add a little more in there. So a quarter people probably need a little additional correction over and above what the Power Step Pinnacle Max has. You follow me?
Yes, I follow you. This is great. This is great. Last year, it was if I were to compare you talked about non-chemical sunscreen, protective hat, the Hoka cushion sneakers. You're wearing your Hoka your sneakers. You actually did your PBS special in your Hoka shoes, right?
I had a black pair that looked good with a suit. Yeah,
it looked good with your suit. That's right. Massage machine, your sprouting equipment. I think your supplements that you talked about was your chopping bowl, the Vitamex Blendtec. Those are some of the things you talked about last year, and this year you're more connected to the earth. You're talking about being more connected with your the meter of the water. You also are talking about seeds, and so you can tell how much.
I'm a farmer now. That's because
you're a farmer. So you're probably protecting your neck
and I'm
your
also
head.
Right. I'm studying more about dog training, getting a new dog.
Which, or are you good replacing PD? You can't replace Petey.
No, Petey was stolen from me by my
I
dog.
know Petey was stolen from you by your daughter, but what kind of dog are you going to get?
I'm gonna get a Doberman with his ears and with natural ears and a natural tail without
You're
clipping
going
his
to get
ears.
a Doberman?
Yeah, and I'm gonna train him so he's the most super obedient and super intelligent. You know what I mean? So I
Well,
could say, go take.
You know they shed. Petey doesn't shed.
Hardly at all. I've had Dobermans in the past.
Oh, you have? And they don't shed that
I've
much.
had 3 of them. Yeah,
And they're smart.
very smart, but they're very trainable. If you spend a lot of time training them, they can become like, I can say to one of the guests at the retreat here, I could say, go take Jane for a walk for a few miles out and bring her back safely. The dog will take her around the trail, bring her back, make sure she's, just keep an eye on her. Also to protect Petey, I'll have in my, because when you go out around here, there are coyotes out in the wild, The coyotes don't attack people, but they attack little dogs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we love Petey. We miss Petey.
And I see Petey, I can't put him down and go for a hike because I'm too worried about something attacking him, like a bobcat or a coyote. Where I want a big dog, I don't have to worry about it. He could just run around in the woods with me and don't worry about no animal attacking him,
And what's up with the ears? Why do they cut the Doberman ears?
Isn't that the craziest thing in the world? They give all these excuses why, better for infection, but they really do it just for looks purposes. It's really just the way the Doberman has been evolved to look. And I think they look gentler and nicer with their ears being natural. And in Europe, they don't even allow them to cut their ears anymore. They think, they're all natural in Europe.
Well, amazing. Amazing. Well, I'm glad that you're setting a new trend in the United States with long-eared Doberman pinscher.
Long-eared Dobermans, right. I don't have one yet, but I'm looking to get one in the future. So I'm reading a lot of books on dog training.
Oh, very good. And,
reinforcement, the type where you really positive reinforce and really train your dog without, choking him and hitting him and yelling at him. You really make the dog not fearful. You want a really great dog that's going to be really friendly and lovable to people. You got to make sure he's never in the developmental stages, doesn't get afraid, and he's really well loved. And then you get a dog that can really be a great friend to everybody.
So have you picked out a name yet?
We think maybe Mitzi.
Mitzi?
Yeah, it's a girl dog.
Oh, you want a girl dog? Okay.
A female Doberman because a female. The boy Doberman, chews up your house too much for the first couple of years. The females, they're so excited in their adolescence. The females calm down a little earlier. You know what I mean? They get to be, they're a little more easy to train.
Yeah, easy to train. Hey, don't let the Me Too movement get you. The female dog's easier to train. Okay, we'll just. But anyway, so that's really good. That's really good that you're doing that. So we're hoping that Mitzi will be a part of the classroom in the future for 2021. I know that you need to go. You have your beautiful residence there. So I want to not take up too much of your time. So if we didn't ask your question, just know the next time Dr. Fuhrman is coming on, we will ask your question then. So thank you so much for all of you for watching Dr. Fuhrman. Wishing you the best for 2021. So we'll see you soon. Bye, everybody. Take care.